Hong Kong, the country my parents are from and the place I call my second home. I'm lucky enough to fly back to Hong Kong a lot to see my family, and it's been incredible to see it change over the last 20 years. Hong Kong is fueled by trends and crazes, and that applies to food, my favourite topic and part of the reason why I love going back. Whether it's traditional Cantonese cuisine or Western influenced food crazes, I'm always excited to see what Hong Kong has to offer. For me, eating through Hong Kong can not only teach me a lot about my ancestry, but it also indicates the direction it's heading. So let me take you through my holiday as I visit some fan favourites and seek out new and exciting foods. So guys, say hello to my partner in crime, also known as my boyfriend, Michael. So my holiday begins from the moment I get my aeroplane food, and while most people have a certain distaste for any food that comes from a plane, I always find it really intriguing. I've actually had this fish dish before, which goes to show how much I fly Cathay Pacific. Mike had some sort of chicken and oyster sauce. I always find the food on the way back a little bit nicer. So we landed in Hong Kong just in time for breakfast, and the first place we like to visit is a Hong Kong style cafe/eatery called Kamwa Cafe or Gamwa Bing Sat. It's most famous for their fresh egg tarts and pineapple buns, or what we call bo lo yao. Kamwa opens all day and all night, serving anything from soup macaroni to really superb French toast. So pop in if you're new to Hong Kong. It's a really inexpensive place to begin getting the feel of Hong Kong food. You can find Kamwa on Bute Street in Prince Edward Mong. Oh, and don't be alarmed if you find yourself squishing in on tables with strangers. This is common in Hong Kong, so just embrace it. Now, I can't take you to absolutely everywhere we went to. We do have lives, you know, but I will take you to the places that are probably worth mentioning. So we've just experienced old school Hong Kong style cafes, so how about I take you to somewhere somewhat new school? How about something Thai? Okay, I haven't had anything Thai per se from Greyhound Cafe, but from what I hear, the food is fairly decent. Greyhound Cafe is a fashion cafe brought over from Thailand and has seen great success in Hong Kong. There are about 6 branches already, serving modern Thai dishes and some very nice desserts in a chilled and trendy setting. Greyhound is worth visiting when you have a long lazy afternoon to spare. I love this place for their iced coffee granita. It's an absolute favourite of mine. Dark, bitter, icy and smouldering, like the dark night of my dreams. I also really enjoyed their crepe cakes. Sure, they may not have as many layers as some others that I've seen, but the delicious moist crepes and pillowy soft cream is enough to send me on cloud 9. I really recommend either their pandan or their coconut flavour. They were both incredible. Seeing as we've just had Thai, maybe we could do some Vietnamese. Trang is another popular Vietnamese chain in Hong Kong, and I like it here because while the Vietnamese cuisine in England is pretty limited, Trang has a lot to offer. Anything from hot bowls of pho to sticky rice, chicken wings to this pan-seared stuffed squid. The squid is stuffed with pork and then more squid, and you dip it in this crazy bright green spicy tangy sauce. It's crazy good, and I don't know how authentic it is, but it really does something for my taste buds. Mike and I have always had a tradition on our Hong Kong holidays where we always get cut price sushi at Yata around 10 p.m. Yata is a great Japanese supermarket, and their freshly boxed sushi is of very decent quality, and when they slash the prices, we go nuts and bring back a lot to our hotel room. And that's not the only reason to pop into Yata. If, like me, you have a maniacal, verging, unhealthy obsession with supermarkets, then pop in to get a good supermarket fix. Buy some interesting drinks, some snacks for the midnight munchies, and maybe if you're feeling grand, go for some expensive Japanese fruit. I always like to make a visit up to Lantau Island to visit our big Tian Buddha. Now I know this is a food vlog, so just hold on. The view from the cable cars is a fabulous way of seeing Hong Kong, and when you reach up to the top, it's extremely rewarding. I find the whole experience really spiritual, and nothing keeps me more grounded than climbing up the 268 steps right up to the top. So while I'm here, I always like to eat from the vegetarian canteen, which serves up some really tasty sweet and sour seitan and fried vermicelli. They also have lots of sweet dim sum items and some refreshing soy milk. The best part is their white sugar cake. It's my favourite. Sweet, light, spongy and chewy. This brings back so many memories of young me in a totally different Hong Kong. So forgive me for the lack of good footage for the next place. We just went up a mountain and all we needed was sugar. But even at the risk of making my video an awful slideshow, I have to give HeSheEat the mention, as it's such a wicked dessert cafe. Everything we tried was delicious, especially the matcha fondant and its oozy gooey centre. And if you like matcha, then try their matcha waffles with matcha ice cream. I want to highly recommend these delicious hotcakes that look like regular hotcakes, but they were extra fluffy and really quite eggy. But I think though the star of the show was definitely this strawberry panna cotta with matcha ice cream. It was creamy and light and so smooth, and they have glutinous rice balls at the bottom, which just adds to its OMG factor. Lastly, their yuzu smoothie with a matcha ice cream is also worth trying. Mike and I just couldn't get enough of it. We had been pining to go to the market buffet at the Hotel Icon for so long, and we finally managed to book reservations for their dinner buffet. Currently one of the best buffets in Hong Kong, they serve up a pretty impressive array of dishes, and I have to say that I liked, if not loved, 98% of the things we tried. The desserts get a mention because most of them were delicious, and for all you durian lovers, that's including me, they have a durian dessert section, and the mini roll cakes were outstanding. The buffet also have some great continental options and lots of fresh fruit and salad. They even had raw horse meat, which I tried and don't think it's really worth having. Also, their sushi selection isn't bad at all, but don't fill up on that because there's plenty of shellfish to be getting stuck into. We were disappointed that there weren't any oysters, but hey, you can't have everything. The hot dishes and the soup noodles on offer were all, on the whole, really good. At about 600 Hong Kong dollars per head, this place does live up to the rumours of good food and good service. So despite it being quite pricey, I do think it was pretty worth it. Right, so let's keep moving on, and we have arrived at Yat Lok Roast Goose on Stanley Street in Central. They're famous for their Chinese style roast goose, and yes, this place is definitely worth a visit. Between the four of us, we shared a whole one, which was about 500 Hong Kong dollars if I remember correctly, and actually that is quite a decent price. The skin is nice and crispy whilst the meat is quite tender, and enjoy it with whatever you like. For me, it's got to be soup rice noodles, or lai fan specifically, and Mike likes his with plain white rice, but whatever you do, just don't forget to dip it in the plum sauce. After you have the goose, you must make for Chong Sao star dessert, and only have one thing, the coconut and longan ice. It's my all-time favourite. The ice is like eating soft longan flavoured clouds with subtle hint of coconut. It's so simple in design, yet for me it's become one of my favourite sweet treats in Hong Kong. Maybe it's because, unlike the complex combos that Hong Kong is frequently coming out with these days, this ice really allows the longan and coconut flavour to really shine through. I would eat about 3 portions in one sitting if I could. And whilst you're in the area, pop over to Sogo shopping mall and go right down to the food department at the bottom and grab yourself a box of cheese tarts. If you like oozy, rich yet light cheesy fillings in a buttery, crusty tart shell, then take a box and go back and scoff them all. Trust me. So we're back in Yau Ma Tei and having clay pot rice with Chinese sausage. This place isn't for the timid or shy. Have a beer and try the fried oyster pancake or even some fried clams and black bean sauce. This is Hong Kong doing what Hong Kong does best. It's honest, old school food, and get stuck in. There are so many options to choose from, but I recommend to go for the classics like Chinese sausage and chicken. Now, what's a Hong Kong food vlog without a mention of Michelin star dim sum restaurant Tim Ho Wan? This place hands down does the best dim sum at very reasonable prices. If you're going to choose anything, make sure you get these pineapple char siu pork buns. I haven't met anyone who doesn't like these. I've had a few variations of this bun, but these are untouchable. So soft and so juicy, and that balance of sweet and savoury is unbeatable. Lastly, get there early, and if you happen to rock up to a large queue, don't be afraid to get your ticket number, because the dim sum waits for no one and the waitresses certainly don't wait for you. Seeing as you're in the area, take a nosedive into the busy streets of Sham Shui Po and seek out this small, now Michelin star rice roll food store, or what we call Chang Fan. This place's, sorry no English name here, is called Hap Yek Thai Siu Sek and can be found tucked away on Lam Street. The freshly steamed rice rolls are simple, silky smooth, soft yet al dente. The texture is sure to impress, and for me this is the epitome of Hong Kong street snack, except I remember as a kid they used to come in brown paper bags instead of plastic. Mix it with hoisin sauce, sesame sauce and chili sauce, and you're good to go. And hey, at $7 for a portion, you can afford to get a few. Okay, let's just take a quick breather and munch on some freshly baked Japanese breads from Yata. This stuff's pretty intense, isn't it? So who doesn't love Eggettes or gai dan zai? It's pretty much a national symbol of Hong Kong. Modos happened to catch our eye when we noticed a lot of people with the same package eating green Eggettes. We tried the lava honey, pandan and the red cheddar cheese flavour, all of which were new to us, and we found them pretty tasty, especially the lava honey. So we're here in Sai Kung visiting family, and I've really fallen in love with the town, especially the pier with all the hustle and the bustle of the boats. What's nice about Sai Kung is the bounty of seafood available. It's so fresh. Really, you can rock up to any of the big seafood restaurants and get a good seafood meal. Mike and I prefer to keep it simple by steaming our seafood, and you can do this by literally picking or bringing your own and asking the chefs to make it a certain way. Whilst here, visit the original Honeymoon Dessert Cafe and have some typical new age dessert like these mango, sago, coconut ice cream, basil seed mix-ups. Yes, you can now see a honeymoon dessert in pretty much all shopping malls or busy centres, but here is where it all began, so eating here after the dinner is pretty special. So after visiting my cousin, we ended up at City Plaza in Taikoo and happened upon a Create Your Taste McDonald's, where here you can build your own burger and ultimately pay a premium for it. We couldn't leave Hong Kong without trying this, so off we went. So let me show you how it works. So the first thing that you're going to do is press the Create Your Taste burger. You see there's a base price of $45, and then choose which type of bun you would like. And then which would you like? Would you like a beef patty or a portobello mushroom? I chose a beef patty. Next, you're going to choose which cheese you would like, or you don't have to choose cheese, but there's anything from pepper jack to mozzarella to cheddar, and in the end I chose white cheddar cheese. And the next thing you're going to choose are your salady bits, so anything from jalapenos to peppers, lettuce, tomato, and also they have caramelized onions. After that, you're going to choose the sauces that you want in your burger. You can actually choose more than one. I went for the herb aioli and the truffle flavored sauce just to make my burger just that little bit classier. But you can choose anything from like relish, tomato ketchup or mayo or anything like that. And then the next thing that you're going to go for are your extra bits that make your burger extra personal. So you've got mushrooms, guacamole, bacon, all of those nice things. You can add more cheese. I went for a fried egg and a slice of pineapple, reminiscent of a really nice burger I once had at GBK. So after that, they'll show you all the things that you ordered for your burger and a total price for your burger alone. Now you can choose to make it into a meal. Of course, I made it into a meal. So you're going to choose your sides. So usually we have fries, but in Hong Kong, I always get the corn just to make it a bit different for myself. And now you're going to choose a drink. And the list is gigantic. All sorts of drinks here. You can have hot drinks, cold drinks, coffees, teas, interesting frappes and iced drinks, soft drinks, and I think in the end I went for an roasted chestnut latte, and then you can choose any add-ons like wings or salad. I didn't go for anything extra because it was already quite a lot of food. And then we have desserts, so they have ice creams and all of that jazz, apple pies. And then that's it really. So then you can see at the bottom how much it's going to cost and how much each burger cost, and about $90 something per meal. It's probably about England price really. So afterwards you take your buzzer and you go to sit down. Your meal is going to arrive shortly, but actually it didn't arrive as quickly as anticipated, but actually it was quite worth the wait. So the burgers came very perfectly stacked. I mean, have you seen a straighter looking burger? And yeah, everything was really good. Everything that we chose respectively was to our liking, and overall I would say it was worth going for, because if you don't have this in your own country then it's worth a try. And the drink was okay. I'm not even sure why I chose the latte. It's not really my kind of thing, but yeah, it was good. It was okay, drinkable. I think I drank most of it. Ready?
So nice. Jeez, get in there, girl.
So you can customize your own burger and you can customize your own ramen. This is lots of fun because they allow you to customize from the flavor strength of your broth to the toppings and even texture of your ramen. You can choose how spicy you want it to be, and also if you'd like an extra helping of ramen brought to you halfway through, just so as not to waste the broth, but also for those of us who are super ramen lovers. It may seem overwhelming, but you do have plenty of information and guidance around you on how to order your ramen, so don't be afraid or feel too overwhelmed. So when you order, you can put your order forward into this box, and you can also see they have two little dishes here. These are for you to order your matcha almond tofu dessert and also your extra helping of noodles. The dessert is definitely recommended. It's like the smoothest, most amazing dessert you're gonna get in Hong Kong. I have to say, the tonkotsu ramen was delicious, and the broth definitely doesn't disappoint. It really did remind me of the ramen I'd had in Japan, and I guess because you can customize it to the way that you like, you're bound to at least like it if you don't love it. If you hadn't noticed, Ichiran customers eaten their own solo booths, and this is the first time I've ever eaten this way. Some would say that this is quite antisocial, but it's supposed to enhance the eating experience, and it allows you to truly concentrate on the flavors and the textures in front of you. For me, I found this less enjoyable, mainly because I feel too confined and it's a bit too antisocial for me, but it definitely aids the customer to focus on the dish prepared, and it seems like an interesting take on mindful eating. So yeah, we didn't realize this tofu was actually a dessert, so we ordered it a bit early, but that's okay because I had ordered my second helping of ramen just in time. So don't forget to save some of the broth because you're going to need that for extra ramen if you choose to have any. This dessert, by the way, blew my mind, and I can still taste it now. It had subtle flavours of almond and matcha, and it was mildly sweet with a creamy, silky smooth texture. something between like a pudding and a creamy jelly. Oh, I wish I really could have ordered 10. So we polished off our ramen and decided to head back to our old-time favourite and have some Hokkaido milk ice cream at Via Tokyo. Matcha Hokkaido ice cream has become very popular and isn't as much of a rarity as it once was, but Via Tokyo still has some of the best combinations and top quality ice cream. We didn't realise that if you visit on a Wednesday, everything changes from matcha ice cream to hojita ice cream. Hojita is a type of roasted green tea from Japan, and when blended into ice cream, it's incredible. So it was lucky we popped in on this day because we were forced to try something new and it didn't disappoint. So many of you foodie veterans would have heard of or even eaten at Din Tai Fung. Originating from Taiwan, this restaurant is famous for their delicious soup dumplings or xiao long bao. The dumplings and noodles also available are equally as delicious and something I look forward to every time I visit. Now this ham jelly looks kind of like gourmet cat food, but actually is melt in the mouth delicious. Also, get the drunken chicken, it's succulent and flavourful, so I recommend this, as well as the silky green bean fettuccine with sliced pork. This dish is all about the intense umami marinade and definitely worth trying. And now we have the soup dumplings, which are also very tasty. I think we got the original pork dumplings, which I highly recommend, and we got the angel loofah and shrimp, which is lighter and a bit more refreshing. You can actually see the dumplings being made through a big pane of glass by the expert chefs, and they are like machines. It's always fascinating for me, and I always give myself a few minutes just to watch and appreciate all the work that goes into these little morsels. Those are delicious and everything, but here comes what I deem as the stars of the show: hot spicy wontons. Unlike the ones we have in broth at home, these sit in a beautiful chili sauce and it's to die for, but I definitely recommend the pork and the shrimp. Just skip the vegetable ones. Also, you've got to try this braised beef brisket noodle soup. The brisket is so tender and all of the tendon and the sinew just melts in your mouth. For me, the broth also just stands out because it's so rich but it's so clear, and it's perfect for these al dente wheat noodles. So overall, I would recommend Din Tai Fung, and although it's definitely not a cheap eat, I think it's worth the money, especially if you haven't been before. After that big breakfast, I was unleashed into the supermarket heaven of City Super, a fancy supermarket that sells all sorts of interesting goods, and in particular a lot of imported products like Japanese fruit, Taiwanese snacks, and even goods from Europe and America. I love coming here because, well, I did say I'm a bit of a supermarket obsessive, and if someone isn't with me, I could lap the whole place 10 times and still call it a warm-up. Okay, so after our post-breakfast exercise, Mike and I did dash back to Shamsho Po to visit Luk Lam Dessert. And admittedly, I've only ever eaten one thing here, and that's this mixed fruit, glutinous rice ball, water chestnut sauce thingy. And that's a hard one to translate, but all I can say is that it has all the elements I love in a dessert. It's refreshing, it's mildly sweet, crunchy, with soft, chewy, glutinous rice balls. I'm so loyal to this dessert, it's hard for me to try anything else here, but it is highly recommended, so it's a must visit if you do come to this area. Mike and I often push our guts to the limit, and here's a prime example. We'd been waiting to try out chicken hof and soju for ages. Korean double fried chicken is my vice, and Mike is a sucker for soju. We were a little eager and we did get there a bit early. Just waiting and waiting. Tastes like toilet cleaner. heard the buzz about the cheese omelette roll, so that was a must, and guys, it's huge. There has to be at least 10 eggs in that monster, but that monster is freaking delicious. It's better than your average cheese omelette. I don't know how and I don't know why, but it really is. Trust me, it's just so rich and flavorful and wonderfully moist. It does seem a bit of a weird dish to have before chicken, but just go with it. We went for the half and half platter of fried chicken with one half as original and one half in a spicy sauce. These were very tasty and definitely miles ahead of any KFC. Well, unless you're talking about their hot wings, and maybe those are a bit better. Why? Well, tasty as I think it was, we both agreed that because we had hyped up in our head so much, we were slightly disappointed in that the batter just wasn't as crispy as we had anticipated. It's crispy, but it could be crispier. However, the sauce on the chicken is really yummy and actually not very spicy at all. I do rate this place for juicy and well-coated chicken, but there could be improvements. So as if that wasn't enough, we also got the green onion chicken, which has always been my favourite, but it's probably fair to say that that's a bit too much onion for even the most onion-obsessed individuals like me. This was also delicious, and I found the sweet oniony sauce to go nicely with the juicy chicken, so I would recommend this if you're not a spicy sauce fan but you want a little more than just plain original. Juicy. After something savoury, we always look for something sweet, and we knew just the place to go. We had to make our way to Harbour City on Canton Road for Lady M crepe cakes because we had heard so much about them. Hailing from New York and now working it in Hong Kong, this place has gained so much attention and we were gobsmacked at the queue. Almost, but not as bad as when cheese tarts first got hot in Hong Kong a few years ago. The queues for dining in were far too long and there was a restriction of only 3 pieces per customer, but if we took them away the queue was shorter and we could buy 6, so we did. Unfortunately we didn't manage any footage of us eating them, but trust me when I say they are so good. Good enough to justify the price tag of them if you like this kind of thing. We tried the yuzu cheesecake, strawberry shortcake, and then the green tea, signature, chocolate and Earl Grey milk crepes, all of which were very yummy. After much queuing, we decided to walk around Harbour City and take some time out to look at the view. So a little background info, my amazing granddad is from Malaysia and him and our family share a huge love for the king of fruits, durian. Now my granddad is an expert durian opener and in his day it would take him seconds. Even at his graceful old age, he still has the connections and the energy to get me a special Cat Mountain durian from Malaysia. I live for this delicious smelly fruit, the creamy, rich sweetness that you just can't get from anything else. It may not be for everyone, but for us, we just can't get enough of it. But living in England, it's hard to come by, and even if we find a fresh one, it's really expensive. It was such a treat for us, and despite eating so much good food, this was truly the most special for me. Wow. Ooh.
good.
幾好啊！
好好食，
你做幾好啊！
好食。
食啊，家豪。
食啊！
係啊，有得睇冇得食。
翻嚟都冇得賣㗎啦，話真係冇啦。
而家仲有得過渡啊！
We're back on the other side of Hong Kong and actually braving Sai Kung on the weekend. If you enjoy busy vibing streets and lovely crowds, then you'll feel right at home here at the pierfront. We came today to see Mike's family before heading back to England. So, we started off this video with typical Hong Kong cafe foods, and now we're kind of ending here with similar Hong Kong dishes that you can get at lots of places. Pop into Chunky Bistro for some lunch because here it's cheap and cheerful, just how it should be. But first, how about a bit of great menu error? Anyone else find these hilarious? So I decided to get a yin yang, which is basically a mix-up of Hong Kong milk tea and coffee, a drink I used to be mad about in my childhood but kind of let go of as an adult. And together we all shared a typical egg and ham Hong Kong club sandwich, and also a dry-fried beef hor fun rice noodles, which was particularly delicious, strawberry fried pork, which I presume is a modern twist to sweet and sour, my mum's favourite, salted fish and chicken fried rice, my go-to Chinese takeaway dish, a spicy peppery Singapore rice noodles, and lastly this crispy juicy deep fried pork hock, which was crazy delicious. And that is that for this meal. So we have reached our last night in Hong Kong, and because we had to do a lot of packing and we had to sleep early, we decided to book a place at La Scala Buffet, which is the buffet restaurant in our hotel. Now I've been to La Scala several times now. Once was years and years ago, second time was a couple of years ago, and this is the third time. To be honest, the food got progressively worse, but it's not all bad. Apart from the food not being as good as before, I feel like there are too many people and they overbook themselves. The feeling you will get from eating here is like supermarket dash, but it's buffet dash, because everyone's just fighting for the fresh or the good stuff. The good parts of the buffet are the fresh raw oysters, the crab legs, the prawns. They were nice, and the Peking duck is also pretty decent. The sushi is also fine, and also their soup noodles were good. The rest of the food is fairly standard, and to be honest, the desserts are not worth mentioning apart from the Chinese sweet soups. If you're staying in Royal Plaza Hotel, then you will get a discount, and it's worth noting to avoid this place at the weekend. So that's the end of this Hong Kong food diary. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching as much as we enjoyed making it. It's always so sad to leave, but we will likely fly back in a year or two. To finish off this video, I show you what we ate at the airport. We always have something really Asian, as if to savour every last moment we can. So I got the dry fried beef hor fun noodles, and Mike got a roast goose and char siu rice, and without a doubt we had a nice lemon tea with it. And now it's really goodbye because it's aeroplane food time. I had some sort of preserved lemon chicken, which I thought wasn't too bad at all, and Mike got some sort of chicken and broccoli thing. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching to the end. So until our next meal, goodbye and see you in the next video.